Welcome viewers to another fabulous episode of Unapologetically Free. Now today I am going to talk about my thoughts on certain quotable quotes. Now first off, I did not manage to post yesterday because I was having a sleep study in the hospital. So basically I was wired up with a lot of sensors on my head, on my legs, all over my body in order to test my sleep, as I have had issues with sleep, and I think they diagnosed it as upper airway resistance syndrome. So basically airflow into my nose is very limited during sleep, and it affects the quality of my rest and as well as the functioning of my brain. So I even had to not use my sleeping mask, which pushes air through my nose. And so today I woke up feeling as crappy as I could. And the lesson over here is that sleep is something that is extremely crucial. And I only learned this because I have a sleep issue. And because I have an issue with sleep, then when I see the effects of a lack of sleep, then I realize how important it is to make sure that you get enough sleep. Now, what is a quotable quote? So basically, any noteworthy quotes that I find meaningful will be discussed in this video as well as videos to come. So on this note, if you have any quotes that have inspired you and your life, do feel free to share the quotes that has personally impacted you in the comments box below. And the quote that I want to share today is, "A fool's lesson is his last." Sorry, I repeat. A fool's first lesson is his last. Now, interestingly, I chanced upon this quote through playing a game called Defense of the Ancients, and a character inside mentioned this quote, and I immediately had to type it down as I found that there was some deep truths in this statement, and now let's examine it. A fool's first lesson is his last. Now, at first, this may sound quite confusing, but this quote made me realize something. Some people, what you call fools, go through life never truly learning lessons. Now, these people may take action, but they seldom reflect upon the lessons of each season. For example, a certain course of action will lead to a certain course of result. If you repeat this kind of action, you will get this kind of result. So what happens if you do not want this kind of result? That's right, you will have to change the kind of actions that you take. But there exists a certain kind of people in this world that refuse to change the way they approach things and refuse to learn this lesson. And only until the mistake is so grave and the damage so irreparable does this fool learn his first lesson, which happens to be his last. And therefore, the biggest takeaway over here is to be humble enough to learn when something you try doesn't work out. The same thing as I mentioned in the previous videos, nuke away any sense in your mind that you need to be perfect when you try something and when you do something. Have the mind of an experimenter and just experience, just experiment and just try. It's okay to fail. It's a very tough concept to learn because in education, we've always been learned to get the correct answer. And therefore, from young, we are definitely afraid of being wrong, of failing. But if you are truly the kind of person that wants to go far in life, then you have to immerse yourself in experience, even painful experience, and then observe. Observe enough to see what kind of results leads to what kind of action. Of course, you may just have a much easier time if you read more and then test the concepts in these books that you read, or listen to videos such as those found on my channel and then test these concepts that has already been so-called rigorously tested by people who know what they are talking about. Now, in the words of Albert Einstein, insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Now, this universe is governed by principles, immutable principles that will never change. A will always lead to A. When you put in A, you will always get out A. It is impossible to put in A and get a B. What I mean is this: when you do something exactly the same way, you will always get exactly the same results. And to me, understanding that this universe is governed by these principles, or what some of us call signs, or the laws of the universe, is very comforting, because that means when you do find the principles, your life will be a stable and solid rock, because you will know what and how to base and live your life on. Therefore, learn to be sensitive to what is happening, observe your body, and ultimately see what works for you. Now, if you like this video, like it, comment, subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you again.